welcome to G-Man Gaming and Reviews. So this is going to be a simple guide to the Wyrdhunter class for Tainted Grail. My Tainted Grail video for Wyrdhunter has gotten quite a few views, but I'm not quite happy with the first version. So this is going to be a redesigned version. This one's a lot more streamlined. I will be doing an in-depth guide, but this is just to get you started. Alright, so this guide is basically just to get you up and running with the character. So look forward to the more in-depth guide if you want to go into that. So the Wyrdhunter class is all about doing lots of damage. His ultimate ability is charged up by 1 charge for each hit he inflicts on any enemy. He also starts every turn by having a card in his hand that costs 1 energy that will allow him to increase the damage of the next hit by 100%, and he has passives that boost damage among other things. Now, I'm going to start with defensive tactics of this character. This pretty much applies to the entire Moon Ring class, I think it is, which is the warrior class. It's only the passives that change from different character. Each of the classes will have the same cards. Don't worry about that for now. So we'll start with the defensive tactics because that's what's going to keep you alive. So the main 4 defensive tactics that the Wyrdhunter has is the following. So the first is blocking attacks. The second is raising his armor. The third is stunning enemies. And the fourth is reducing the damage enemies do. So normally you start with a block and a stun when you first start as the character, and you'll pick up other cards along the way that allow you to do things like raising his armor and reducing damage that he do. So we're going to go through each one because they're very important to understanding how this class works defensively. So we'll start with blocks. So blocks are really simple in that for every 1 instance of block you have, you will block 1 instance of damage. So when you look above the head of each enemy, if it has a number, that means it will do that much damage to you when you end your turn. And if you see, so for example, if you see the number 10 to 17 above an enemy, that means that the enemy will do 1 hit with a minimum of 10 damage and a potential maximum of 17 damage to you. Okay? So the way that blocking works is that each block will block 1 instance of damage. Now, it blocks 1 instance of damage irrespective of how much damage it does. So the advantage of blocks is, like I said, is that they block 1 instance of damage irrespective of how much damage they do. The disadvantage is that they can only block 1 instance of damage. So if an enemy is doing multiple hits to you, or there's multiple enemies attacking you, block will only block 1 instance of damage, and enemy's turn order is resolved from left to right. Okay, so if there's 2 enemies on the left that are going to be if there's 1 enemy on the left, 1 enemy in the middle, 1 enemy on the right, and the one in the left and the one in the right are attacking, the turn order will go from left to right. So if you had 1 block, it'll only block the enemy to the left. It won't block the enemy to the right's attack. Right? So that's how blocks work. That's the basics of them. That's his first defensive ability. The next defense that the Wyrdhunter has is raising his armor. So just like there are cards that contribute to blocks, some cards raise armor. Now, normally raising armor is very useful when you're dealing with lots of little hits, as when you raise your armor, it reduces the damage of every hit that comes your way based on your armor value as a result of just blocking a single instance completely. But the advantage of armor is that it can be combined with blocks. Next is stunning enemies. So when an enemy is stunned, it does nothing for that turn or however many turns it is stunned. Now, you should be aware that while you shouldn't save cards, you should be aware that not many of the cards the Wyrdhunter has will stun enemies. So you should save those for special occasions, especially if an enemy is going to do a high volume of heavy hits. then stunning an enemy might be better than blocking or raising armor. The last thing that the Wyrdhunter has to do defensively is reducing the damage that enemies do. So the Wyrdhunter has access to cards that reduce the damage enemies do, and these can be combined with other defensive cards that reduce damage even more, such as reducing damage or raising armor. So that's basically the main defensive tactics that the Wyrdhunter class has when it comes to defending itself from enemy attacks. So offensively, this one's a little bit harder to talk about because it will change depending upon which passive skills and cards you get in the game, which is one of the things that makes this game really interesting. How while each faction has the same cards, each class has each character has unique passive skills. So it's hard to give you an in-depth guide because it's random for the most part which choice of passives you get access to as you level up. But I would prioritize skills that allow you to heal yourself, as that is one of the problems that the Wyrdhunter has, is his general inability to heal himself. And since you have to go through an entire run with 1 health bar, be aware that taking damage without healing yourself will get you killed fast. But like I said, as you level up, it will become easier to survive as you unlock new skills, cards, and other upgrades. So this was the G-Man Gaming and Reviews guide to the Wyrdhunter. Later on, once I create the in-depth video, you will see a link to that video here. This was G-Man Gaming and Reviews. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, and thank you for watching. If you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe. Alright, thank you, bye.